Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious creatures in all of folklore. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the abyss, into a realm that covers over 70% of our planet, yet remains almost entirely unexplored. The ocean. A place of profound beauty and profound mystery. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our own ocean floors. And in that darkness, legends are born. Legends of colossal beasts that defy our understanding of the natural world. But what if I told you that some of these legends might be more than just stories? What if the reason we don't hear more about them isn't because they don't exist, but because they're being deliberately hidden from us? Today we're exploring 5 sea monsters that some believe the government covers up. From sailors' whispers to classified naval documents, the tales persist. Strange sonar contacts that outpace our most advanced submarines, unexplained wreckage, and eyewitness accounts from decorated military officers that are quickly dismissed or buried in red tape. Is it all just paranoia? Or are we being shielded from a truth our modern world isn't ready to accept? The idea seems like something out of a blockbuster movie, but the threads of evidence, the historical patterns, and the sheer number of unexplained events paint a very curious picture. We'll be examining the official stories, the scientific dismissals, and the compelling accounts that just won't go away. So, grab your life vest and prepare to have your reality questioned, as we descend into the crushing depths to uncover the monsters that might be lurking just beyond the reach of public knowledge. Number 5. The Ninjan asterisk. Our journey begins in the frigid, unforgiving waters of the Antarctic. In the 1990s, whispers began to circulate among Japanese whaling fleets about a creature so bizarre, it defied all classification. They called it the Ninjan, which translates to human in Japanese. The name is chillingly appropriate. Eyewitnesses describe a massive, completely white creature, estimated to be between 60 and 90 feet long. It has a vaguely humanoid shape, with what appear to be arms and legs, and even 5-fingered hands. Its face, however, is said to be indistinct, featuring only 2 giant eyes and a slit for a mouth. Stories first gained traction on internet forums in the early 2000s, where an anonymous individual claiming to be a former crew member of a government-funded whale research vessel shared a terrifying encounter. He described his crew watching a strange, pale shape in the distance, assuming it was a foreign submarine. But as they approached, it surfaced. It was alive, a colossal, pale white thing that stared back at them before diving at an impossible speed. The story goes that official orders came down to classify the sighting. All photos and videos were confiscated, and the crew was sworn to secrecy. The cover-up theory suggests that world governments, aware of these creatures through their extensive naval and research operations in the Antarctic, have maintained a pact of silence to prevent global panic and to avoid disrupting the fragile political treaties governing the continent. They don't want a monster hunt in the last pristine wilderness on Earth. Skeptics, of course, argue that the Ninjan is nothing more than a modern internet legend, a creepypasta. They propose that sightings could be misidentified albino whales, giant rays seen from an odd angle, or even floating icebergs that play tricks on the eyes in the disorienting Antarctic light. And yet the accounts persist, often with strikingly similar details from unconnected sources. Number 4. The bloop. In 1997, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, was using a sophisticated underwater listening system to monitor the deep ocean. This system, a remnant of the Cold War designed to track Soviet submarines, picked up a sound that baffled scientists. It was a powerful, ultra-low frequency noise that rose rapidly in frequency for about a minute before disappearing. It was dubbed the bloop. What made this sound so terrifying was its sheer amplitude. It was detected by hydrophones over 3,000 miles apart. For that to happen, the source had to be many times louder than the loudest known animal sound on the planet, the call of the blue whale. For years, the origin of the bloop was a complete mystery, fueling rampant speculation. The profile of the sound didn't match man-made sources like bombs or submarines, and it didn't sound like any known geological event like an earthquake. The sound profile was more consistent with that of a living creature, leading to the chilling conclusion that a colossal, unknown animal was lurking in the depths. This is where the cover-up theories ignite. Could a government agency like NOAA, with its military ties, truly not know what this was? Or did they know and simply chose not to tell the public? The idea of a creature large enough to produce that sound, a creature far larger than a blue whale, was a terrifying prospect. However, in 2012, NOAA finally offered an official explanation. They concluded that the bloop was the sound of a massive icequake, a cryosism, as a giant iceberg cracked and fractured off an Antarctic glacier. The sound profile, they claimed, was consistent with the fracturing of ice. While this is the accepted scientific consensus, believers in the cover-up find the explanation a little too convenient. They argue the sound's organic signature remains distinct from other recorded icequakes, and that the explanation was a neat way to put a terrifying possibility to bed. Was it truly just ice, or was it a convenient story to hide something truly titanic? Number 3. Lusca in the Caribbean, particularly around the Bahamas, a legend persists of a creature that embodies the terrors of the deep. Lusca? This isn't your average sea monster. It's described as a monstrous hybrid, a creature with the tentacles of a giant octopus but the sharp-toothed maw of a shark, sometimes reported as being over 75 feet long. It's said to inhabit the massive underwater cave systems and blue holes that riddle the region. Fishermen tell stories of something immensely powerful dragging their crab pots into the abyss, never to be seen again. Divers speak of a looming presence in the dark corners of the blue holes, a shape too large and too fast to be anything they recognize. The government cover-up angle here is tied to tourism and maritime security. The Bahamas and the surrounding Caribbean nations are heavily dependent on tourism. Imagine the economic devastation if it were confirmed that a colossal, aggressive predator lurked in the very waters that draw millions of visitors each year. The theory suggests that local authorities and even larger governments actively suppress reports of Lusca attacks or sightings. Unexplained disappearances of divers or boaters are quietly attributed to drowning or equipment failure. Strange carcasses that wash ashore are quickly disposed of before they can be properly studied. Scientists offer a plausible, if less dramatic, explanation. They suggest that the legend of the Lusca could be born from sightings of giant octopuses or colossal squids, which are known to inhabit these waters. The shark-like mouth could be a terrifying glimpse of the creature's powerful beak. The immense strength and speed are characteristic of these large cephalopods. The blue holes provide a perfect, mysterious habitat for such an animal to thrive, rarely seen. Yet no captured specimen of a giant octopus has come close to the 75-foot size described in the legends. The mystery of the blue holes remains, and so does the fear of the Lusca. Number 2. The Kraken *. No list of sea monsters would be complete without the most legendary of them all, the Kraken. Ancient Norse sagas from as early as the 13th century describe a sea beast so enormous, its body was said to be the size of a floating island. Its tentacles were powerful enough to wrap around the largest longships and drag them to the bottom of the ocean. For centuries, the Kraken was the ultimate sailor's nightmare, a symbol of the ocean's wrathful, unknowable power. For a long time, science dismissed these stories as pure fantasy, the drunken tales of terrified sailors who mistook reefs or volcanic activity for a monster. But what if the government knew otherwise? The cover-up theory here is less about a single nation and more about a global understanding among naval powers. Submarine warfare is a cornerstone of modern military strategy. The deepest parts of the ocean are the ultimate stealth environment. What would it mean if there was a biological entity capable of detecting, interfering with, or even destroying a nuclear submarine? The existence of such a creature would be a strategic nightmare. The theory posits that naval sonar has detected impossibly large biological masses in the deep, and that unexplained submarine disappearances, often blamed on accidents or enemy action, could have another, more terrifying cause. The scientific community now widely accepts that the Kraken myth was almost certainly inspired by a real animal. The giant squid, Architeuthis dux asterisk, first captured on film in its natural habitat in 2004, and then again in 2012, this creature can grow to lengths of 43 feet or more. It is a true monster of the deep. Skeptics argue that this is the final answer. The Kraken is a giant squid, and nothing more. But believers point to the legends. The sailors described a creature the size of an asterisk island. A 43-foot squid is a giant, but it's not an island. Could Architeuthis be just the beginning? Could a much larger, more powerful relative, a true colossal squid, still exist in the unplumbed depths, its existence a carefully guarded military secret? Number 1. The Leviathan *. Our final entry is perhaps the oldest and most profound. Ancient texts, from the Ugaritic myths of the Bronze Age to the Hebrew Bible, speak of the Leviathan. This wasn't just a monster. It was a primordial force of chaos, a sea serpent of unimaginable scale and power. The Book of Job describes it in terrifying detail. Its back has rows of shields tightly sealed together. When it rises up, the mighty are terrified. Nothing on earth is its equal, a creature without fear. For millennia, this was viewed as allegory, a metaphor for the power of God over the chaos of nature. But some researchers, looking at these ancient descriptions through a modern lens, see something else. They see an eerily accurate description of a real-world creature, one that science says has been extinct for millions of years. They see a basilosaurus, a massive serpentine prehistoric whale that lived during the Eocene epoch. Or perhaps an even larger predator from the Miocene, Leviathan melville *, an ancient sperm whale with teeth a foot long, named specifically after the biblical beast. The cover-up theory here is the most speculative and the most profound. It suggests that a small, relict population of these extinct, apex predators has survived in the deep ocean trenches, and that government and scientific institutions, upon discovering this, made the decision to classify the information. Why? Because confirming that a creature from the Bible, a creature thought to be myth, is real and alive would have paradigm-shattering implications for science, religion, and our entire understanding of the planet's history. It would rewrite everything. Scientists maintain there is zero fossil evidence to suggest these creatures survived past their extinction events millions of years ago. The deep ocean is a harsh, food-scarce environment, and the odds of a massive air-breathing predator surviving undetected for so long are, they say, astronomically small. It's far more likely that ancient peoples discovered the colossal fossilized skeletons of these creatures, and not understanding extinction, assumed they were the remains of monsters that still roamed the seas. And yet, the descriptions in those ancient texts remain chillingly specific. From the icy Antarctic to the warm Caribbean, from military sonar to ancient scripture, the stories of hidden sea monsters endure. Are they just stories? Or is there a reason the ocean remains the world's greatest mystery? What do you think, myth or reality? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.